So if you want to own your own business, you can start a business from scratch, but you can also purchase an existing and established business if you want to. And I think this is often overlooked when people want to own their own business. They often think that they just need to start from scratch, but it is an option to purchase one that's already built. And I think that this option might become more and more attractive or more available as many business owners are heading into retirement. So in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about purchasing a business as opposed to starting from scratch when you're starting a business. So there are some trade-offs, some pros and cons, just like with anything. But one of the main benefits of purchasing a business to get started in business is that it's a head start. Someone else has already built a foundation. Maybe they've already chosen a business name. Maybe they've found a commercial space and have a lease. Maybe they are pretty busy with a lot of customers or clients and generating a lot of revenue. Maybe they already have things like sales tax accounts and an insurance policy and employees and a website and things like that. So if you're wanting to skip over that stuff, then purchasing a business that's already established could be very beneficial in that regard. Now, typically it is going to be more expensive to purchase an existing business rather than start your own from scratch, just because you do get that head start where someone else has already built out the infrastructure, whether that infrastructure is, physical assets like equipment, or even just more like digital or goodwill, like websites and marketing, social media accounts, and, a good customer base. And although it typically is more expensive to purchase an existing business, in some cases it might not be. Like if you're starting a restaurant and you purchase one that's already established, maybe they spent a lot of money on new kitchen equipment and you're able to purchase that equipment from them at a much lower price than you would have to pay otherwise. But in most cases, it is going to be more expensive to purchase a business that's already established. Another benefit is that things are often decided for you already. Of course, you can go into this new business and when you purchase it, you can make changes and make it your own. But if you're not the type to want to create, the menu or the services or the prices or the branding, then if someone else has already set that up, then it saves you the time and effort from doing that. Now, another benefit of purchasing an existing business is that because it is already established and it may have a customer base already, that could mean that it could be profitable right away. Whereas typically with starting from scratch, it might take a while to build up that business, build up the customer base, generate enough revenue to not only cover your expenses, but to be able to pay yourself. So with an established business, before purchasing it, you can look at their financials to see how profitable it is. And you might be profitable from day one. There might be enough recurring revenue to pay all your expenses, plus pay yourself, a pretty good salary from operating the business. So while you may be paying more upfront to acquire the business, you are going to be getting paid sooner and more than you would starting from scratch in most cases. And of course, with a lot of businesses that you can purchase, you're not stuck, operating things the way they were before. You can make it your own. You can change things. You could potentially change the business name, but be careful with that. You still want customers to be able to identify with it. But you can change a lot of the things in the operations. If you have a physical store, you can change how that's laid out and things like that. Unless you're buying like a franchise where there are a lot more rules from head office for that franchise, then typically you do have a lot of freedom to change that business to make it your own. And then lastly, when it comes to acquiring the business, again, because it is more expensive, typically more likely that you'll need to get some funding from an outside source to purchase that business. So that might require, finding a lender, writing a formal business plan. But it is easier to get lending in that case or to get funding because the business is already established. It already has financials. It already has, revenue. So it's easier to show that to a lender. And when a lender sees that, they're more likely to actually give you money to purchase that business. Because in the eyes of the lender, it's going to be a lot less risky to help you purchase an existing business that's already profitable rather than give you money for a business idea that has no proof or track record yet. So hopefully this video was useful. If so, please click like and feel free to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I'm closing in on 300 videos that cover business management and business startup topics.